Now, I hope you have learned about the topics which is addition of vectors, a parallelogram method, triangular method, and parallelogram method was used for finding both direction as well as magnitude of the addition of vectors. That is, if you had two vectors A and B, and when they were added, they produced a vector C. So the direction of C was found by two methods. One is triangular method and the other is parallelogram method. Triangular method gave you the direction of C but not the magnitude, but parallelogram method could give you both direction as well as magnitude. I hope this much section was completed in our live class. It was supposed to be, I am planning like that. If not done in the live class, I will do it in the next video class. Okay, so we'll do this as a fresh topic itself. So the topic which we are going to take today first is called unit vector. Very important, guys, right? And this is required throughout in your 12th class, right? So see, any physical quantity which you have learned in first chapter is represented as n into u, right, where n is the numerical value of that product and u or that quantity and u is the unit. Suppose you are asked to buy a particular weight or a particular amount of mangoes, you will say weight of that mango, say, is 5 kilogram. So 5 is the numerical value and unit is kilogram. This is how any physical quantities, or I can specifically say any scalar physical quantities are depicted here. Now, whereas any vector quantity, force or velocity, etc., is represented by n, numerical, or I can say magnitude, into unit vector into proper unit. Right? Suppose this is just an example. If you are asked the force, right, in this direction, usually this is x direction, right? So if you are supposed to write force, suppose this is 5 Newton force, so F dash is written as n into F cap Newton. Newton is the unit, right? Clear? I hope you understood. Usually you can remove this Newton because F is already known as suffix for force, right? So need not write the unit, but the basic way which is usually written is vector. Any vector is represented as n into unit vector. Keep that in mind. Clear? Right? So you would ask, what is this? So unit vector representation, if suppose you are having a vector A, so its unit vector is A cap. If you are having vector B, its unit vector is B cap, right? So you can understand B vector will have B cap as unit vector, A will have A cap as unit vector. Clear? So that means I can say that this A and this A both are vector form itself, right? Both are vector form, so both will have direction. That you have to keep in mind. So what is the nature, basic three natures of unit vector? First is A cap, that is a unit vector, will have the same nature of A. That is, unit vector has the same nature as that of its parent vector. This is its parent vector, right? So this much should be clear. That is the first point, guys. Same nature. Second property of a unit vector, it has same direction. If A vector is in this direction, then A cap also should be in the same direction, right? So same direction. Now third point is this A vector can be of any magnitude. So it can be 6, 7, whatsoever value, but unit vector should have only value 1. So magnitude of a unit vector is 1. So these are the three major criteria of a unit vector. This much clear? Now, suppose I have force 5 Newton. Sorry. Now suppose I have force 5 Newton, right? And I am drawing it like this, right? I can break this 5 Newton, right? So I am going to break it like this points. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points are there, right? 5 parts are there. 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so equivalent to this point I am drawing one another, that is 1 Newton, right? That is, if I draw a small one near to it, that is 1 Newton, and it is having this much direction, this much magnitude of 100, that is, it is having this much part only, length is only this much part, obviously that is 1 Newton. Now both are forces and both are in the same direction, right? That is, this 1 Newton is now representing the unit vector. It's one part of the, right, it is representing the unit vector of 5 Newton. See, unit magnitude, right? And the same direction, both are force, yes. Both are in the same direction, yes. Third criteria. And this is in the having magnitude 1. So 1 Newton, as per this example, is the unit vector of 5 Newton. This is just an example, guys, don't take it as it is, right? That means if I write a vector, right, as 5 Newton, right, then 1 Newton, then I can write 5 into 1 is same, right? So this 1 is 1 Newton, right? Then 1 Newton is named as unit vector, and this one I can write it as a cap, right? So a vector is equal to 5 Newton, right? That is its magnitude, or you need not write Newton, right? 5 into, right, and 1 I am going to write it as what? See, this 1 Newton I can write it as unit vector, so I will write it as a cap. Clear? So any vector, right, can be written as combination or product of magnitude and unit vector. So what can I say about unit vector? What is the definition of unit vector? Unit vector of any vector is same vector itself, right? It's a itself, right, but with a magnitude of 1 unit. Clear? Now, so from here itself I can write some other things, that is a cap, right, or a vector. I wrote it as what? N into a cap, or I can say a cap is equal to a vector by n. Or what is actually n? Numerical value, or I can say it is the magnitude of vector a. So at last I can make it as in the box itself, that is a cap unit vector is equal to vector divided by its magnitude. Clear? Right? Now there are universally accepted 3 coordinate system, right? So this is y direction, this is x direction, and this say is z direction. So there are fixed coordinates or unit vectors for each coordinates. The unit vector for x direction is I, j cap for y direction, and z cap for k cap for z direction. Keep that in mind. We'll use it during the next section. Clear? Okay. So if you want, I can say an example with this. See, suppose I tell you that I am applying 5 Newton. I don't know why I am telling 5 Newton itself, and it is applied in x direction, right? So how can I write it? I will write in x direction, right? So I will write, say, f vector is equal to 5 into magnitude into unit vector. What will be the unit vector in x direction? It will be I cap, right? Similarly, if the 5 Newton is in y direction, I will write force is equal to 5 into j cap. Similarly, in z direction, force will be 5 into k cap. Clear? So actually, unit vector gives you the, by using the k, I and j, I can understand in which direction it is flowing. If you suddenly say in vector equation there is a j value, means that is y coordinate. So you can understand from vice versa condition. Clear? Right? Similarly, see, if you say if you are now given a position vector, right, that is you are given a position vector like this. So that means if you draw a graph like this, right, so this is the origin and the position point, yeah, that means you are drawing a position vector like this. This is the P location. That means P's location will be x value. This is 3. This will be what? Y coordinate will be 4. So this is 3, 4. Clear? So that is the meaning of this one. Clear? So this is y coordinate, so that means you have given 4 value here. This is x coordinate, that you have given 3 here. This much clear? Easy, right? Now there are further topics. Right after that, I will tell you how to write or how to find the unit vector if you are given a numerical problem per se. Right. Now the next topic we are going to have is resolving vectors. Right. So in addition of vectors, what would you find? That is, ouch, why did it run? Resolving vector. It's okay, sorry guys. Suppose you are having, see, 2 vectors A, right, and you added it with another vector B, and you got a result which is C vector, right? So I can generate C vector by combining 2 vectors A and B, or I can say C is the resultant vector of A and B. That means I can also think in this another way. That is, if A and B vector can be used to generate C vector, that means I can split the C vector to generate A and B. See, it's just like a simple maths problem. Oh, I don't know why it is running, guys. Right, see, I'm telling you 8 is equal to 4. Okay, let's remove it as 4. It's a equal division we can remove. I can write it as 5 plus 3. Right, so if 8 is generated by adding 5 and 3, that means 8 can be split into 5 and 3, that is 2 components, right? Clear? So 8 can be formed by splitting it into 2 components, right? So just like a vector can be formed by adding 2 vectors, similarly the resultant vector, if it is split, we can get the same vectors from where it is originated. This much clear? That is known as resolving the vectors into its components. This much clear? Now suppose similarly, can't I write it as a combination of 2 plus 5 plus 1? Yes, I can write. So that means 8 can be split into 9, not only it has 2 components, it can be split into more than 2 components. This much clear? Similarly, a vector can be also split into more than 2 components. That is, I can say v vector is equal to v1 vector plus v2 vector plus v3 vector and so on, right? But the addition is not done by arithmetic method. This addition is done by our parallelogram law method. I'm sorry guys, I was moving my camera, my phone, so the alignment changed. Extremely sorry. Now let's move on. Then the blackout is due to the timing for display to off was just 15 seconds. Sorry again. Okay, now suppose I'm going to draw 2 axes. This is x-axis, this is y-axis. Clear? Now let's say from origin O, I'm drawing a vector A. So I write A vector like this, right? Clear? So that this length gives the magnitude of A vector. So this is actually modulus A. This much clear, right? Now this is the position of that vector. Sorry, this is the position, right? So there will be this value and this value, right? So let me write, right? Let us say that its position component of A along the x-axis, this much value is called AX, right? This vector A is x component, right? Similarly, component of A along y-axis, this much value, I'm writing it as AY. Clear? Then I just told you before, right? If there are 2 points, so actually this AX is the point here and AY is this point, right? AX is this value and AY is this value, right? And I told you that hence A vector can be written as what? Ax into I cap in x direction plus, it's a combination, right? Similarly, I can write it as ay j cap, right? I told you before with an example, right? With OP, right? So this position I can write it as x vector into its unit vector, right? Plus y component plus its unit vector, right? Clear? Now let us consider this triangle and let us consider this angle is theta, right? So this value is ay and this value is ax. So what is sine theta, guys? Sine theta is, right, ay divided by this length is the magnitude of this vector, so a, right? Similarly, what is cos theta? Cos theta is again base ax by a, or I can say, ouch, ay is equal to a sine theta and ax is equal to a cos theta, right? So I just told you what is ay and ax. They are components of vector a. So a vector can be divided into two parts, which is a cos theta and a sin theta. Clear? So let's take an example like this. Suppose there is a velocity vector like this and this is the ground, say, right? Say, let's say this ball was thrown like this, so that the velocity vector will be in this direction when the ball is thrown like this, right? Let's say this velocity vector is making an angle 30 degree, right? So that means this velocity can be divided into two parts, right? This is a horizontal component, right? That is x direction. So this is actually vx and this is vy, and we just told you what is vx. It is v cos theta. So this is v cos 30, right? Similarly, what will be vy? This is v sin 30, right? Clear? Right? So any vector can be divided into two components, where horizontal component is known as, or is written as, that vector into cos theta, right? And the vertical component is known as vector into sin theta, where theta is the angle made by the component with x direction or horizontal direction. Clear? Now some of you guys might be having doubt, or while doing the problems, which direction will be cos, etc. So trick, guys, suppose this is a vector like this, right? And like this it is told this, or I can say the ball was thrown like this. That is, this is not the ground. Let's say there was a person here, he threw the ball like this from the window, right? So this becomes the angle, right? So this becomes the horizontal, guys, right? So see, this is our v velocity, right? So you have to take the line, this becomes the line, right? With that the theta is made, right? So let's say that is 30 degree. So the component which is along with the angle becomes v cos 30 degree. The other line perpendicular, this becomes sine. This is just a trick, right? A line along with the angle, right? This is again acceleration, this is the angle, so this becomes the horizontal component. So this becomes cos, a cos theta. This becomes a sin theta. Clear? Keep that in mind, right? Now let's move on with the same section, guys. So we just wrote ax is equal to a cos theta and ay is equal to a sin theta. Now what I am going to do is I am going to square these two guys, so that this becomes a squared cos squared theta, this becomes a squared sin squared theta, and then I am going to add these two guys. So how this will be added? A squared is common, so there will be cos squared theta plus sin squared theta. Now what is cos squared theta plus sin squared theta? 1, right? So that means in LHS side I can write ax squared plus ay squared is equal to a squared. What is this? Magnitude square. Or I can say magnitude of a vector is equal to root of sum of the squares of its component. Clear? This is very important. Clear? Right. Similarly, let's do a small problem, guys. If you're given, right, S vector, right, and you are given 3i plus 4j, right, and you are asked what is the magnitude of this vector. So what would you do? Root of ax squared, this is the x component, so 3 squared, ay squared, that is this one, plus 4 squared, so it will be what, root 25. You will get 5 as the magnitude of vector S. Clear? Simple. You just have to square the coordinates or the coefficients of I and j, and then if there is k, then that also, and then you have to find the root, right? So that means I told you about k, right? So that means if in place of x and y there is an additional coordinate z, then magnitude of a should be written as root of ax squared plus ay squared plus az squared. Keep that in mind if there are 3 components. Clear? Right. Now let's move on with the figure, guys. So we had this as ax, right, this as ay, and this was the vector a, right? Now this was theta, right? So this was our triangle. This is ay, this is ax, right? So this was our ay, this is ax. So from the triangle I can write tan theta is equal to ay by ax, or theta is equal to tan inverse ay by ax. That is, the angle made by the vector with the x component is given by theta is equal to tan inverse ay by ax, that is y component by x component. Clear? Why I am telling you as a detail like this is because this theta is actually giving you the direction, right? It gives you an inclination. So you will suppose this can be, suppose theta is 45 degree, means if by this calculation I got, that means the vector is at 45 degree from what? This direction is east, right? So vector A is at angle 45 degree with east. So actually theta gives you the direction of the vector, and modulus A gives you the magnitude of the vector. Clear? Now let's do another problem, guys. Suppose position of a body is given as 3, 5, 6, right, and you are asked to write it in vector form. That means this is x, this is y, and this is z component. That means that position vector I will write it as 3i cap plus 5j cap plus z k cap, right? If you are asked what is the magnitude of this p, root of x squared, ax squared, that is 3 squared plus 5 squared plus z squared, right? You will get around root 70. That is the magnitude of p. Now again, now remember I told you I will tell you regarding unit vector. If you are asked what is unit vector of p, so remember what is unit vector? A cap is equal to a vector divided by modulus of a, or magnitude of a. So p vector divided by modulus of p. So what is p vector? 3i plus 5j plus 6k cap whole divided by root 70. This is the unit vector form of p. Clear? Its magnitude will be 1, but this is how it is supposed to be found, because we actually don't know the actual value of I into j, etc., and how can I divide I divided by root 70. Clear? So the magnitude should be 1, but if you are asked how to find the unit vector, you have to just divide the vector with its magnitude. Clear? Right? Easy. Clear? This is actually 1999 NEET question. You are given a vector like this, 0.5 I cap plus 0.8 j cap plus ck cap, and you are told this is a unit vector, right? Let's say it is a cap, right? Then what is the value of c, right? Pause the video guys, and you try to do it by yourself, right? So that you can understand the concept. So if this is unit vector a cap, so that means value of this a cap, that is magnitude of it, should be 1, right? So how would I find the magnitude of this value a cap? That is root of, right? This is ax, this is ay, and this is az, right? So ax value is 0.5 squared plus 0.8 squared plus c squared. So 1 I can square, then 1 itself is equal to 0.5 squared plus 0.8 squared plus c squared. Now it is easy to find, right? So you will get c squared is equal to 0.11, or c is equal to root of 0.11. Clear? So always keep in mind the magnitude of unit vector is always 1, however way you are writing. Clear? Right? Now I will tell you a small section which is actually dot product. That is, suppose addition of vectors. If you are asked in this form, if you are asked a vector is given as 3i plus 4j minus 6k, then b vector is given as 2i minus j plus k, and you're asked to add, means it is very easy. You just add I components, j components, k components. So 3 plus 2 will be 5i, right? 4 minus j, right, it will be 3j, right? That will be minus 5k. This will be c vector's value, because already the direction is given by ijk, right? The cap should be written. Don't forget to write the cap, guys, right? This much clear? So addition, similarly subtraction will be easy, but there are two ways in which the multiplication will be done, right? Which is dot product and cross product, right? Cross product actually you would have learned in metrics in your maths. If not, you guys will be studying later on. But dot product is very easy, guys. A dot b, right, is actually ab sine theta, but theta is angle between the vectors a and b, right? See, so suppose the question is like this. I will tell you a small way of telling, or I will give you a numerical problem and try to do it so that it will be very easy for you, right? Suppose you are given one vector as 6i minus 4j cap. This is all unit vector, so don't forget to write cap 3 cap, and there is another vector that is 20i cap plus 15j cap minus 5k cap Newton, right? So while you are doing dot product, make sure you can only find the product, dot product of c, that is I can be multiplied with I only. If you are doing dot product, guys, this is another thing. So dot here, so when you are doing dot product of two vectors, only I can be multiplied with I. See, I dot I is 1, similarly j dot j is 1, similarly k dot k is 1. Whereas if you multiply with I with dot product with j or k, the value will be 0. Clear? So only common terms can be dot producted. Cross producted is a different way, guys, that will be taken in the next class. But dot product, it is always taken in only common terms can be found as the product. Clear? Right? So how can I do the product? Okay, then the equation went off, right? So I'm going to find a dot b. First is 3i plus 4j plus 5k, right? And I am going to product it with 3i plus 4j minus 5k dot, right? Dot product. So I told you when you are dotting, see, I can split up and write it. 3i dot 3i plus 3i dot 4j minus 3i dot 5k, right, plus 4j dot 3i, this one, plus 4j dot 4j minus 4j dot 5k. Now plus 5k dot 3i plus 5k dot 4j. I'm just multiplying each and every term, guys, right? Plus 5k, there is a minus, right? 5k into or dot 5k, right? Now see here, I into I, right? This term I squared or 1, so you will get just 9. Now this term goes of I dot j is 0, I dot k is 0, so these two terms. Similarly j dot I is 0, right? Similarly j dot j, that is 1, so I can write it as 4 into 4, that is 16. Now j dot k is 0, k dot I is 0, k dot j is 0, but like terms k dot k is 1, so I can write 5 into 5, that is 25. Clear? Right, there is a minus, right? So this is minus. So 9 plus 16 is also 25, so 25 minus 25 is 0. Clear? So you will find a dot b, you find the answer of a dot b is equal to 0.